welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all really well. My name is Hannah if you've never seen my face before, and today I'm going to be delving into some controversial opinions on secondhand shopping and slash charity shopping. So if you don't know, I am a big advocate for charity shopping and secondhand shopping. I only buy secondhand, and I have an Instagram account that's kind of dedicated to this and showing my pre-loved outfits and charity shopping tips, etc, etc. So I asked my Instagram followers to tell me what their controversial opinions are on secondhand shopping, and I'm going to delve right into them today, and I'm going to be giving my 2 cents on it, if I agree with them, if I disagree. Everyone's going to be kept anonymous, and I actually don't remember who sent most of these, I think now, because I've already cropped their name out the title, but out the question, whatever you call it. But I feel like we should just delve straight in and get onto some controversial opinions. I also think it's time I separate my fringe a little bit, because it's getting in my eyes and I can't cope with that, so that had to be done. Starting off with probably one of the biggest, I would say, misconceptions about charity shops. The first one is that there is a charity shop smell. I always wash before I wear, but it's old lady meets cupboard. Now, I definitely know the scent you mean, and there are definitely some things in charity shops that do have this scent, but you can't tar them all with the same brush, because some of them definitely don't have that. I would say more often than not, I am finding clothes that just smell like really lovely washing powder, and I'm often just like, damn, what washing powder are these people using? It smells incredible. Why do my clothes never smell that clean? But I'd be lying if I said I've never smelt the smell you're referring to before, because some shops definitely do have a little bit of a funk about them. I never let that put me off though, if I'm honest, because I often think sometimes if a shop is a little bit smelly, that's where the best stuff is, and I don't make the rules, that's just what I find sometimes. But yeah, I would say I kind of agree with you because I have experienced it, but I couldn't just say that all charity shops have a certain smell, because they definitely don't. Okay, these two are kind of similar, so this one is from the same person. This one says, some thrifty girls are still over consuming, sometimes me included, but it's hard to have self-restraint when things are so cheap. And then in a similar vein, someone else has said that thrifty influencers constantly shopping is not sustainable or to be admired. So I guess I am what you could call a thrifty influencer, a thriftfluencer, if you will. And there's quite a big community of us on Instagram. If you're not already familiar with that, that is a thing. And I'm guilty of this too, I'm not gonna lie. And I would agree with you. A lot of us are still doing too many hauls, buying way too much, and I feel like probably not acknowledging it enough as we maybe should. I've actually tried to take a little bit of a step back with how much I show that I'm buying, because I'm finding it very difficult to actually cut back on the buying. I feel like that is a big process in itself. But I used to do fast fashion hauls on my YouTube channel, and if I'm honest, I'm just glad that I'm not doing that. I'm actually in two minds about this point, because I definitely do agree that a lot of people, again myself included, are definitely shopping too much and sharing too much of their shopping. But without that, how many people would be getting converted to secondhand shopping? Like, how many people, does that make sense? Like, if there's a big influencer that's showing their secondhand buys and stuff, and then someone that's never thought to shop secondhand comes across it and is like, oh my god, I never knew you could get all this great stuff in a charity shop, then maybe you've just converted someone that would have bought the next outfit from Boohoo and have ended up buying it from the British Heart Foundation, you know what I mean? But yeah, I definitely, if I had to pick a side, I would say 99% probably of thrifty influencers are still promoting overconsumption. Yes, it's in a slightly better way, because these clothes already exist on the planet, haven't been bought new, haven't contributed to fast fashion, haven't contributed to lots of bad things. But yeah, definitely need to shop less. I think my problem personally, need a little tea break. I think my problem personally, and it's something I just need to work on for me, is that I'm a size 16 to 18. That can be really quite difficult to find in charity shops. So a lot of charity shops I go in and there's like one pair of size 16 jeans or one pair of size 16, one like size 16 dress. And sometimes I've been guilty of looking at it and going, yeah, I like that, I'm going to get that because it's the only one here that's suitable for me. And maybe it's not an item that I'm absolutely obsessed in love with, and I'm just getting it because I feel like there's nothing. I actually can't use my words properly, but I hope you kind of know what I mean by that. It's definitely something I need to work on. But here are some thrifty influencers that I feel like pretty much never promoting overconsumption and are encouraging you to wear what you already own. They don't tend to do hauls. They tend to make very considered purchases, and they have some people that I think you should go follow if you're not already. There are of course a lot of thrifty influencers that I love, but these ones in particular are not promoting overconsumption like in any way, shape or form, so that's always great. Next one is, I will very happily buy fast fashion secondhand. I think it's better to give it a second life. 100% agree. I've actually seen a lot of people make this argument and say like, I would buy fast fashion secondhand, I would, and I very rarely see anyone that wouldn't. I would definitely buy it because, going back to a previous point, there is often slim pickings for my sizing in charity shops, and 99% of the time all that's left for me is fast fashion, so it's usually all that I have to pick from. If you're wondering why it would be a problem to buy fast fashion secondhand, it's probably, I'm not like a brainiac smarty pants, but it's probably just down to the fact that they're not very well made. So they have things in them like microplastics that break down when you wash them and then get into the oceans. They just sometimes are filled with like nasty stuff that can get into the planet. Again, I'm not a brainiac smarty pants, and there's probably someone that could articulate it better than me. But I am of the opinion that I would rather buy a fast fashion item secondhand than for it to not sell in a charity shop, to go in a rag bin and to end up in landfill. Because I have worked in a charity shop, I have seen firsthand how many rags we would do a week. Sometimes we'd probably have about 100 sacks, and you think like a size of a black sack, sacks of rags. That's a lot of rags. A lot of them were still wearable items, and they probably did end up in landfill. I don't know that for a fact. I don't actually know where our rag merchant took them. I just used to get told it would go to like Eastern Europe or something. They're probably rotting in a landfill somewhere though. But like I said, I don't know that for a fact. So yeah, definitely agree. It's fine to wear fast fashion secondhand. If it makes people feel a little bit better, I've seen some people say that they rip out the labels to completely disassociate from the fact that they're buying something secondhand. I've just bought something from Vinted, and I'm just picking this out because the label is literally staring at me. That is literally all I can see right now, staring at me, because I bought something from Vinted and I got it today. So yes, that is something you could do if you felt a bit weird about like constantly seeing these fast fashion. And I do think it's good to desensitize from the brands too. Maybe that's something I'll do, cut all the labels out. Next one is, sometimes I just want to go into Primark and buy my thrifting wish list. Look, I feel you. There are so many times where I just want to go, do you know what? I want to buy something on ASOS. I want to buy something from Primark. And I never give in, but the feeling is there. Like, especially now I'm bigger, now I'm in like a size 16 to 18, and it is a more limited size range to shop secondhand. And don't even get me started on how difficult it is for people that are a size like 20, 22, 24, etc. But yeah, sometimes I just think life would be so much easier if I could just forget my morals and go to Primark. But I'm definitely too far in now. I think if I might have stumbled at the first couple of hurdles 4 years ago when I first gave up fast fashion, then I may be somewhere different today. If I would have given up after a month, then I feel like I might have struggled to get back into it. But I definitely feel like I wouldn't do it now. There'd be no point this far into it. It's almost like it's it's a part of me now. Like, I don't shop fast fashion, I don't buy new, like that is a personality trait to me almost. But yeah, it's frustrating when you think about how other people will just go into Primark and get what they want to get. But you've just gotta rise above those feelings, and I don't have any advice for you. But yeah, that's your controversial opinion, and I want to say I agree. Sometimes you do just want to go to Primark until you actually go into Primark, because I did go into Primark recently because someone bought me a gift card for it. I didn't buy clothes with it though, don't worry. And when I was in there, I was actually walking around thinking to myself, how did I shop in here? This is absolutely horrific. Hated every second of it. Couldn't get me out there fast enough. And actually, I had £2 left on my gift card, and I thought to myself, I don't want to come back in here ever again. So I just gave it to someone in the queue. I was like, there's £2 on this gift card, knock yourself out. Didn't want to go back. Hell on earth. Okay, the next one, and this is a little controversial opinion. This is a little bit juicy now. This says, I really judge shops with loads of new goods. Now, new goods have been in charity shops for a really long time, and new goods can count as lots of things. They can count as like the Christmas cards, the greeting cards. They can count as the homeware sort of stock that a lot of them get. And I don't know if the corporate stuff counts, the stuff that some charity shops get given from like fashion brands. I don't know if that counts as new goods, so I'm not sure if that's what you're referring to. I wouldn't say I judge shops that have lots of new goods. I just get a little bit annoyed when I go into a shop and it's loads of new goods. It's not what I'm there for, but I definitely understand as someone that works in a charity shop that there are a certain amount of new goods you have to have on the stock floor. There's a certain amount that you're expected to sell over a certain time period, and they're really annoying. Actually, new goods were the bane of my life because I'd have to do stock take twice a year on them, and I hated it. So yeah, I wouldn't say I judge them. I would definitely say though that I would prefer that they had less. And the next one is charity shops are losing their spark. Now, obviously I don't have these people's elaborations on their opinions, so I can't have like kind of a conversation with them to find out what they really mean by that. I would say though that I have noticed a change in charity shops. Possibly post-COVID. Wouldn't say COVID has anything to do with it though. There's definitely been a shift though, and I think that there has the popularization of charity shops has definitely amped up a bit. So they definitely feel different because there's different kinds of clientele in them. There's different kinds of people donating, so there's different kind of stock in there, like a lot more fast fashion and stuff because a lot more young people are donating, which is great. I don't know if I'd say they're losing their spark, because I feel like they're actually, as someone who I work adjacent to charity retail, I would say they're actually more up and coming and like bigger and better than ever. They're just different, and a lot of them I don't like. On the whole, most of them I love, but there's definitely a change to them for sure. Whether they're losing their spark, I don't know. It's a tough one, so I'm not sure. Next one is, I prefer a Jumbly charity shop to more than a boutique one. Agreed.
That's the tea.
Look, if I'm out and I'm trying to get content for my Instagram or for my work's Instagram, then the boutique ones are great because they look great on film, they look great in pictures, like they're really eye-catching. The displays are beautiful, so much hard work has gone into them, merchandising is fantastic and stuff. So I'll opt for those for if I'm like searching for content and stuff. But if I'm actually wanting to go shopping to buy myself clothes, then the Jumbly ones are definitely better. And I don't think there's really any question about it. For me personally, I would assume it's because, and this is going to be difficult for me to word, I would just assume that there's more kind of clothes in my size in the Jumbly ones than the more boutique ones. I don't have a reason for that, but that's just what I feel like I experience. But But yeah, I like having a little rummage in the Jumbly ones. You're more likely to find a little hidden gem. In the boutique ones, they're there, they're on the rail, they're hanging up, they're not going to be shoved in a basket somewhere. But yeah, I'd agree. They both have a place, I feel like, in the charity retail world. Maybe a little mixture, maybe we can meet in the middle somewhere for something, I don't know. But yeah, I'm definitely a Jumbly girl. The next one is actually a pretty hot topic between me and my friends, and I've actually been wondering if I should do an Instagram post on it, so this is kind of interesting. So the next one is, charity shops without size cubes are leaning towards fat phobic. So if you don't know what I mean here, it's, you know, when you go into any shop really, probably, they have a little cube on the hanger with the size on. So picture this, you walk into a charity shop, you're a size 20, you walk in, there's clothes everywhere, hanging up, and there's no size cubes on the hanger. You think to yourself, okay, I've got 5 minutes, I will start looking. You start looking and you're like having to pull out the label on each one, or look for the little actual clothes label, or pulling out the tag, and you're like, size 8, size 8, size 10, size 10, size 12, like whatever, okay. And because they won't be in order either, they'll probably be color coded, they won't be in size order. You spend 5 minutes of your life looking for your size, and then discover, oh, actually there is no garment in this shop that is my size, and I've wasted 5 minutes of my life when I could have been doing something else. That's really annoying, it's really disheartening, especially if you have to go through item after item that you're like, that's beautiful, not my size, that's stunning, not my size. So then imagine you're a size 20 and you walk into a charity shop and there are cubes everywhere and they're color coded. Now I know when I'm shopping to look for a color yellow for 16 or color red for size 18. Those are my colors that I look for, and then I can just go in, scan with my eyes, see what color, see what size section to go for by the color, and then I know how much is there for me that will fit me. So do you see why those two experiences would be different? Because if you're a size 20 and you go in and I don't know off the top of my head what the colour for 20 is, let's say it's blue. You go in, you scan with your eyes all the cubes and go, there's no blue cubes here, I'm not going to waste my time. I'm not going to waste my time. And then you've not wasted your time, and you've saved a few minutes of your day not being disheartened. And yeah. Do I agree that charity shops without size cubes are leaning towards fat phobic? It definitely feels that way. I would like to believe though that it's not done maliciously. They probably never actually considered the fact that it's kind of disheartening. They're probably just thinking that aesthetically it looks nicer without cubes, which, hey, it is. Now you can just get plain black cubes, which is fine. I'd rather the plain black cubes that just have the sizes on than no cubes at all. But yeah, I would definitely say it's not inclusive to not have size cubes. That would be my hot take on it. Hello there. We've had some technical difficulties. I'm afraid half of this video has gone walkabout. The second half of this video is someone accidentally deleted it and then deleted it from the recycling bin. I don't know who it was, but it's irretrievable. And I had two options: refilm the whole video or refilm half the video. You can see which one I've gone for. I will refilm half the video. Now I will be just answering or responding to the same opinions, controversial opinions that I've already answered. It's kind of annoying because I feel like I gave some pretty good responses to them, and today I'm not on top form. Today I have got a headache, so it's less than ideal, but today is the best day for me to refilm this. But it has been about a week since I filmed part one, so who knows what's going to happen here. Please don't turn off. Please stay with me, will ya? I've got a headache. Please just appreciate that I'm filming it. You know, I don't know what's going on. Let's just say I was a lot peppier in the first half of this video, I would think. But hey, we move. Let's try and get this a little bit more upbeat. I can do this, okay. The next controversial opinion is new clothes are dirtier than secondhand, from a retail employee. So I have heard this, but I did ask the person that submitted this to elaborate on what they said, because I just thought, if no one else is aware of this, I think it's pretty juicy goss for people to know about new clothes. This is straight from the horse's mouth, straight from the retail employee. So, the clothes that come in sometimes stink disgusting. 2 weeks ago, we had a whole shipment of dresses that stank like fish. If you touch a lot of the clothes, your hands start to feel really icky. I think that's because clothes are treated with different chemicals before they're sent out. The clothes are on the floor all the time because customers treat them like garbage, they get stepped on, etc. You find the most disgusting stains on them. We regularly find bikinis with period blood on them because people try them on without underwear on. In the summer, people try things on when they literally reek of sweat. Sometimes you get handed things back that feel wet because they carry them around the stores for so long. Returns aren't always properly checked if they've been worn or not. Returns smelling like cigarettes are also common. So that is grim. And so I think I have to agree that new clothes are dirtier than secondhand, because I've never experienced anything like that on the shop floor in a charity shop. I've experienced it in the back room when I worked in a charity shop. I experienced the worst of the worst. I'm honestly having flashbacks to shit-stained underwear. But yeah, I have heard in the past from like retail employees who work in like fast fashion-y clothes shops that like the clothes are treated with chemicals and stuff, and it all just sounds pretty damn grim. So I'm going with you on that opinion. I trust you. You know best. The next controversial opinion, if I can keep my eyes open, is thrifting is becoming a trend, which defeats the whole point of it, I think. It's a pretty hot take, I have to say. I think it's good that thrifting is becoming a trend. It means more people are conscious of the planet, in my opinion. I think I had a really good rebuttal for this when I first filmed it, but today it's escaped me. But it's tricky. I don't want people to get into thrifting because it's trendy. I do want them to get into it for the right reasons. But at the end of the day, the planet doesn't really care what reasons you get into it for. The planet will just be happy that you're not supporting fast fashion, I suppose. Like, I get it's annoying. Like, when I first started charity shopping, I felt like I had the whole shop just to me. Like, it was just me and the old girls, do you know what I mean? I never saw, when I worked in a charity shop, the only people that I saw as customers in there, under 25, under 30, were you, like 99% of the time, it was just like young mums. I never saw teenagers shopping in them. I never saw people in their early 20s shopping in them unless they had like a buggy with them. Like, it just never happened. It just wasn't cool when I was working in one. So whenever I would go charity shopping, I never had to fight with people that had like a similar style to me. It was just me and the old girls, and it was lovely. Nowadays it's different, you know. I see people my age, I see people walking around holding stuff, and I'm looking at it thinking, oh, I wish I would have found that first. But that's life. That's just, it is what it is. It's unfortunate. But I enjoy that people are embracing it. I'm happy it's becoming trendy, because it can only really mean good things, I think. Could be wrong. Might be something that's escaping me right now, a negative to it. But as long as these people keep up with it and don't go back to fast fashion, I don't really mind. It is what it is. The next opinion is you need to be able to have a good route to get a bargain. And I find shopping alone hard. Any tips? So that's funny. I prefer thrifting alone, actually. I really enjoy thrifting with my friends too, but I think I get the best stuff when I go on my own. I definitely think you can get good bargains by having a good rummage and a route around, but I don't think you necessarily need to. I think there's plenty of good stuff just staring at you in the face on the rails. Just depends on the shop. The thing about charity shopping is that it can just be a bit of a lottery. Like, you just don't know what's been donated. That's why I like it. You just never know if you're going to come up trumps or not. It keeps you on your toes, and I enjoy that. Any tips? If you find shopping alone hard, try and get some friends to go with you, I would say. It's good to bounce things off your friends when you're out, try things on, get a second opinion on things. But for actual charity shopping tips, I did a video on that a few years ago. I doubt it's changed much. I would imagine all those points still apply, so I'll link that in the description for you. The next one is, rarely buy shoes secondhand now. Always clean / disinfect inside worn shoes. I'll say no more. I think with shoes, it's definitely like a case by case sort of affair. Some shoes are definitely too past it for me to even want to consider putting my foot in it. Most shoes are fine. I think charity shops aren't going to put out absolutely minging shoes. Obviously, sometimes you do see them, but on the whole, you won't. Like, the shoes I would sort through when I was sorting through donations, I would have seen some of the worst of the worst, and I've never seen anything like that on a shop floor in any charity shop. I've never seen a really, really grim shoe actually out on the shop floor. But I think Vinted and eBay are the best places to get secondhand shoes, to be honest. Charity shops, sometimes there's just never any in your size, but it's good to be able to just search for your size on Vinted and eBay and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't think I clean and disinfect all the secondhand shoes I buy. If I think that they need it, then I will. Or if I'm going to put my bare foot in it, I will. But a lot of the stuff that I'm going to wear socks for, if they don't look grim, then I don't actually bother. But although I have got like a disinfectant spray, that's so easy to just spray it. I do that sometimes, most of the time. Yeah, I think a lot of people feel funny about secondhand shoes. I think for me, it just depends on what it is. I bought some secondhand sandals recently because they didn't look disgusting. I think that's the thing. I think people see, like, if you see a minging pair of shoes in a charity shop, the thing is that you don't have to buy it. Like, do you know what I mean? The next one is, I love shopping secondhand, but I have sisters that think it's dirty, smelly clothes that other people don't want. Other people's rubbish. And sometimes it is smelly, lol. Sometimes it is, yeah. Some people just have that mindset, unfortunately, but whenever I meet someone with that mindset, I do like to try and challenge it if possible. So if you do want to try and challenge them and change their mind on it, I would suggest looking for some curated boutique style charity shops in your area to try and take them, to try and like coerce them into going into. I think that's probably your best bet to try and convert them, or get them on the Vinted bandwagon. The only problem with the Vinted is sometimes you can get burnt on like the first purchase. Shut up with your car, please. Filming a video. If you get burnt on your first Vinted purchase, it can be kind of tricky to try and make yourself do another one if you've been burnt the first time. So I definitely get that. But also websites like Thrift Plus is a good shout. Oxfam have an online charity shop. But yeah, if someone says that they don't like shopping secondhand, I always like to try and change that. But to be fair, I don't meet that many people that say that, so I'm in a bit of an echo chamber. I think pretty much everyone in my life likes a charity shop. So also, the whole thing about smelly clothes is just, I get that it could put some people off. I think because I've worked in a charity shop, I see past certain things. I can see past something that's a bit smelly because I've got a washing machine, and if I like something enough, I will just take it home and put it in the wash. Do you know, like, I think it's all about mindset though. Some people just can't get that thought out their head. Some people are like germaphobes and stuff, so I totally get it. I just couldn't be me. Next one says, not controversial, but I'm sad at how little I find in a size 16. When I was a size 10, I used to find so much good stuff. Here, my sister. I totally feel ya. It's a big problem. My friend Amy actually recently just held a plus size shopping event in a Havens hospice shop in Brentwood. She works for Havens hospices in their marketing department, and we're all hoping that that event will kind of be a catalyst and like encourage other charity shops to maybe like ask for more plus size donations, hold plus size events. But yeah, the whole shop, it was amazing. The whole shop just had sizes 16 and up in it, so it was pretty bloody cool. But yeah, I've been there. Like, it was a lot easier when I was like a size 10, 12, 14. 16 was when I started to struggle, I think, which is just madness, because I think a size 16 is like the average size in this country for women. So yeah, it's weird that there's not more of it. Yeah, I agree. It's annoying. The next one is fast fashion brands should stop dumping their unsold stock into charity shops. I gave such a good reply to this in my original video. I'm not even going to do it justice now. So if you're not aware, there are certain charity shops that if you go into them, they have a deal with certain fast fashion brands. And I'm not going to pretend like I know the ins and outs of it, because I don't sit in on those meetings. I don't know how it all works. But basically, some certain fast fashion brands are effectively dumping all of their unsold stock into charity shops. And there are pros to this and there are cons to this. Pros are they're not going in landfill. They are potentially they're potentially drawing in customers that maybe don't want to buy secondhand stock. The money will go to the charity. But the cons are that, and like I said, I don't know the ins and outs of it, so I'm not going to pretend that I do, but the cons can be like, maybe these brands are overproducing stock because they know they can fall back on just chucking it in the charity shops. Also, is there some kind of tax thing going on here? Like, if they have a whole bunch of stock that hasn't sold, do they get taxed on that? So that's why giving it to a charity shop is the better option. Other cons is that these can often be like samples also, or just from not very size inclusive brands. So it's taking up space on the rails because they're all just small sizes. So it's like unlikely you're going to find anything in your size if you're like above 14, 16 maybe. Also, it's just not what most charity shop enthusiasts want to see in charity shops. We want to find good quality garments in charity shops. We want vintage, and the fact of the matter is that we just don't want new fast fashion clogging it all up. And I've got a group chat with some fellow like eco kind of thrifty bloggers, and we've talked about this before, and some people have spoken to the staff in the shops about it, and they don't really like that they've got to do it. So like a lot of the charities don't enjoy this, and it would be really interesting if someone could do some research into it. But I know some of the girls in the group chat have actually tried, and they've talked to like papers about it and stuff, but no one's really interested. But it's a very interesting topic for sure, and I have to agree. I think fast fashion brands should stop dumping their unsold stock into charity shops, and I'd like to get to the bottom of how it came to be honest, because it's like up and down the country, it's everywhere. And that's another thing as well, they all seem to be from like the same lines, so it's the same shit stock everywhere. Like, I'm seeing the same stuff where I live, and I'm seeing the same stuff 40 miles away in another charity shop. Like, it's all just the same shit, and I've had enough of it. But yeah, I definitely articulated that a lot better the first time around. Next one is, I hate when charity shops charge dollar bills for cheap shops or things that are in poor condition. So yeah, I don't like that either. It's annoying when shops are charging a lot of money for like Primark or stuff that is probably actually essentially rag. When I worked in a charity shop, the cheapest price you could sell a dress for at the time was $3.99. And there was so much stuff that I struggled to justify pricing at $3.99. So my option was, because I just didn't want to mug people off, you know, I didn't want to charge $3.99 for a dress from Primark that I knew at the time was only £7 or £8. So my option was, do I rag a perfectly sellable garment, or do I charge $3.99 for it when it's not worth it at all and I don't want to mug people off? It was really conflicting. It was really difficult to know what to do in that situation. Sometimes I just put it on a code, on the miscellaneous code, so I could get away with charging it for a bit cheaper. But a lot of stuff ended up getting like, if it's been on the shop floor for like a week or two, they would end up being like reduced anyway. So, but yeah, I don't get the whole minimum pricing for things, because some things just aren't worth that, and the price guide was just so bizarre at times. So that if you go into a charity shop and you're like, why have they charged that much? It could just be that they've got a specific price guide that they've got to go by, which is frustrating. But also it's really annoying when stuff is expensive and it just doesn't need to be. The last couple of ones are kind of similar because they're all to do with reselling. So we've got resellers are not monsters. Is it okay to buy something from a charity shop and sell for profit? I've done it, by the way, but I'm conflicted. Being a reseller is amazing and I don't like when people get mad about it. There are enough clothes for us all, apart from Depop girls who overprice. That's not okay. So again, I gave a really good response to this and I just don't know if my brain's gonna be able to do it again. Reselling, I'm glad this is the final point I have to say. Reselling is something I feel really split down the middle by. Super conflicted by it, if I'm honest. Now, I will preface this by saying I have resold a few items in my time. I've never made a living out of it. I've probably done it 3 or 4 times, and it's just been on the rare occasion where I just see something that's just like too good to be true. Like, I think I got like an All Saints cardigan for £2 once, and I was like, but I actually think all the stuff I have bought and resold, I did buy it with the intention of me owning it. I don't think I've ever actually bought something with the actual intention to resell it. It's more been like, I'm going to buy this, I'm going to take it home, and if I don't like it, then I'm definitely reselling it, because what a bloody bargain that was. But yeah, I feel so conflicted about it, because on the one hand, I definitely know the fact that there are enough clothes for everyone. And on the other hand, I have been behind the till in a charity shop and had customers on more than one occasion come in and brag about the fact that they have bought something from my shop and made a really big profit on it. And that was because at the time, like, I don't live in a particularly well-off area, so you can't get away on some items with asking for big money for it. So sometimes it would go a little bit cheaper, but that's fine because like we got money for it. But the fact that some customers actually came in on several occasions to gloat about how much money they had made from reselling it, that was not okay. So I think because that was kind of my first experience with reselling almost, I think I feel a little bit salty about it for that reason. But on the whole, I do know that resellers aren't monsters, but I don't know. Like I said, I'm just really conflicted about it. At the end of the day, the charities are getting the money that they're asking for, and that goes to a good cause. And then on the whole, I'm fine with it. It's just there's just a part of me that's a bit like, I don't know. But at the end of the day, whenever I sell my clothes, they're usually bought from a charity shop anyway. So I'm also reselling to some extent, but I don't know. I gave a better response before, but right now my head feels like it's gonna fall out my skull. No, my brain feels like it's gonna fall out my skull. It's not good. So those are all my controversial secondhand shopping opinions. Not mine, yours. I've responded to yours. Sorry the second half of this video was a complete and utter shit show. It was definitely a less than ideal situation, and I was very close to spending £30 on a software that claimed it would be able to retrieve the item that I had deleted from the recycling bin. Luckily, before I agreed to pay that money, I realised it was not going to be able to retrieve it, which made me very happy that I did not waste 30 quid. Feel free to leave me your controversial secondhand shopping opinions in the comments, or like respond to any of the ones I've brought up. I'd be really interested to hear your opinion on it. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please give it a like if you did, and subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you very soon for another one. Goodbye.